MMA UK. I'm here with Lawrence Tracey. Lawrence, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, thanks, brother. Very good, thank you, man.
How's training? How's that going?
Mate, it is sweet. I'm back at Trojan, smashing it up. So yeah, it's all happy days.
So you're competing bare knuckle boxing 24, January the 22nd against Hodgson for the British Middleweight Championship. How you feeling? Because obviously the last fight was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Look, the last fight was strange. Like, well, I'll give you it from like my sort of perspective how it kind of went down. So the whole fight lasted like 30 seconds, so it's nothing really. I come out and I'm putting the pressure on. He hasn't landed a single punch. I throw a little bit of a combination. None of the punches landed or did any damage, but he's gone down from it. I think just from the pressure of being of that what I was putting on him, and as he's gone down, his leg slipped out of the ring. Now he's gone and injured his knee, and I think fair play, he definitely had injured it because he's a tough lad. Like he would have got back up and carried on fighting if he could, but. You know, from that, I mean, in MMA, it's cut and dry. I'm putting him under pressure. He's then hurt himself. That's my win. Yes, I would understand having a rematch, which we've got. He's just not ready yet. Otherwise, we'd be rematching now. But yeah, the fact that I didn't get the title, I was a little bit gutted about, to be perfectly honest.
So with that, then did they rule that as a no contest sort of thing?
Yeah. So how they saw it is that because I was coming forward, that I sort of pushed him and he fell out the ring because of that. Now I've gone back and watched the video since, and there's absolutely no pushing going on. It's all strikes, and anybody that watches that film, and I know it's not out yet, but I mean anybody that watches it, you'll see straight away. It's all punches, and I think he's gone down just from the pressure, and as he's gone down, his legs slipped out of the ring, and you know that's just one of those things. It happens. He would have carried on, but he's injured himself, so it just is what it is.
Yeah. So I guess with going with that, then you're one win, one no contest. With I know in your eyes it's a win because you've walked away unscathed. You've walked away the one on top. So going into this one against Hodgson, you got 2 fights in the bare knuckle organization. Confidence is high, training is going great. What can we expect?
Look, like you say, as far as I'm concerned, 2 fights. Neither guys have made out the first round with me, so I've done everything I have to do right. Going into this fight with Hodgson, I don't really know that much about him, to be perfectly honest. I haven't really watched any tape on him. As far as I thought, he was like a few weight classes above me, so I hadn't really taken any notice of him. His last fight, he's fought like a journeyman essentially, like Ashley Gibson, who's a good fighter, to be fair to him, but he's come into that fight and he's a self-proclaimed journeyman. He's also not trained for 6 weeks, and he put Hodgson on his ass, smashed him. Hodgson's got back up, fair play to him, and ended up winning the fight. But if Ashley Gibson can hit him, when I hit him, it's a totally different thing. He's going to be going down, and he won't be getting back up. Put it that way.
So are we talking first round out and done?
100%, mate. It's that old cliche, don't get paid for overtime and all that sort of nonsense. Heard millions of people say it before, but it's also my style. I come forward to take you out with everything I throw all the time, and I train so I can keep that going the whole time, and that's, he's going to have to come up with a very good game plan to stop me doing that, because if he comes in and thinks he can just have a bit of a war, a bit of a brawl with me, he's going to be in a bad way.
Fair enough, and everything you've said so far, you've backed up, and it's come to fruition. So I'm excited to see what happens on the 22nd, and I'm sure, as always, you'll bring some fireworks. Going post fight after your last fight, there was an interview that circulated the internet like quite a lot.
I think I know which one you're on about.
And anyone that knows you, Lawrence, knows you're a very nice guy, very polite, very well mannered in your approach, very respectful. But that interview seemed to bring out the worst in the person you were speaking to. The person you were speaking to. But I don't, from my perspective, knowing you personally and professionally, there was no spite in what you said, but it kind of turned sour very quick, didn't it?
Yeah, man. Like, to be honest, as far as I saw it, Holmes and Lerble were fighting on the same card as me, and they were fighting for the world championship at the same weight class as me. I'm fighting for the British championship, and as far as I'm concerned, just like I've just said to you, I won that fight. So realistically, I've just won that title. Holmes just won the world title. Realistically, we should be fighting each other. That's the match. It's perfect. It's made. So, you know, I was a little bit hacked off that I hadn't got that title. It wasn't given to me. So, you know, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and get the fight for myself. Not in a dickish way. So I went up there and I sort of said, you know, well done the fight, mate. You know, you look good, but I'm coming for you next. And that was sort of how I was going to sort of leave it. Maybe I thought, you know, he's just come off a knockout victory. I thought he was going to be riding high on confidence. Just go, you know, we don't make the fights as fighters, but you know, there's no reason why he would be anything other than confident. Surely coming off a win like that. And he took it completely the other way. Got all upset about it. Was crying about the fact that I walked into on his interview and all that sort of thing. So yeah, the sort of situation turned a little bit, and of course, you know, you start throwing jabs my way, I'm going to throw them right back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was quite odd because it did seem initially like he was like, oh yeah, thanks, and then it just went all a bit in.
Yeah, I think he just sort of, you know, that's the sort of pressure that I've been putting on people, even without me getting in the ring with them. I think it's just the confidence that I'm coming out with. A lot of people don't really know how to deal with it, and you know, initially maybe he was sort of like, you know, yeah, fine, we can have the fight, and then he sort of maybe thought about it in his own head, got sort of changed his mind halfway through, and you know, just sounded a bit weak to me, to be perfectly honest.
So without looking too far ahead in the future, and I know a lot of fighters don't want to predict, you know, after their upcoming fight, but would that be the fight to make, win the British and then go on for the world middleweight championship?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I think Holmes is looking for like a bit of a big money fight with fighting an American, things like that, because there's a few links with the guys over in the States. But you know, realistically, he's got to beat me first before he can say he's a world champion. You know, that as far as I'm concerned, that's 100% the fight that needs to be made. But if not, you know, there's plenty of other guys to fight, and you know, I've said I've got no problem going up a weight class if that's needed. You know, it's no issue for me whatsoever. My game is perfect. Doesn't matter how big, what size they are. I'll be dropping everybody. So it's happy days.
All right, fair play. Just going off of the subject of bare knuckle, recently you've just gained your brown belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Congratulations. How does it feel? Because Jiu Jitsu is a very long journey. And I remember the days where you was a blue, I was a white.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Well, I remember being like you say, I remember being a blue belt, and I entered a no-gi British grappling competition, and I ended up winning the black belt division. And to be honest, all of my coaches were saying, "Why have you entered the black belt division? You're gonna get smashed and all this sort of thing." Ended up becoming British champ as a blue belt, and since then I've massively taken jiu-jitsu so much more seriously. Absolutely love the whole game, love the leg lock game. I just love it all, and it's given me a massive passion for it. And you know, to get something like your brown belt, and I mean, you understand, and the guys who are from the MMA background understand how much of a big deal that is. And you know, it's one step closer to that black belt, and you know, that's a huge thing. And it's not about time spent on the mat. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You don't get a sort of brown, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu unless you are at that level, because they just don't hand them out like candy. It's not that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a really big deal. And I was chuffed to pieces, absolutely chuffed. I was surprised as well because it was first session back after Christmas, and yeah, I was absolutely buzzing, mate.
Yeah. So you know, going into the new year already, you've achieved your brown belt. You got your bare knuckle boxing British title fight coming up, and things are already looking good. Can we, you know, I know you got this bout on the 22nd. Are you looking to stay active if it permits? Like, what's your, you know, schedule looking like for this year in terms of like how many fights?
So for me, I mean, so far I fought September, November, now January. So every 2 months I'm fighting. I 100% want to keep that going. 6 fights a year is perfect for me. I mean, to be honest, if providing there's no sort of injuries or anything like that, I'd fight even more regularly than that. In between, looking to compete in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and with the idea that I'm kind of riding this wave with the bare knuckle boxing at the moment, but the plan's always to go back to MMA and get back to that. So whilst everything's running as smoothly and as perfectly as is in the bare knuckle world, I'll keep that going. But 100% I'll be back to MMA at some point soon for sure.
Yeah, and that was actually going to bring me on to my next question in terms of the MMA. And I know at the moment bare knuckle is kind of where you're at in terms of you're doing really well. You're getting titles, title shots, and then again with the jiu-jitsu, you're balancing that. So MMA's not shelved; it's just being rescheduled until it allows you to compete. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, look, 100%. I mean, I'm here at Trojan now. This is an MMA gym. I'm not training. I don't do my bare knuckle boxing training here. I'm still training 5-6 days a week over here as well. Obviously, it's been off a little bit over Christmas with things, but in general, I'm not letting the MMA go. Still do lots of MMA sparring and bits and pieces because, for me, even though bare knuckle is sort of looked at as like absolute war, brawling, all that sort of thing. I am a martial artist. I love martial arts. I don't want to lose anything just because I want to do well in something else. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just sort of, if everything can improve, that's great. The bare knuckle, the jiu-jitsu, the MMA, I'll fight in all of them all the time as far as I'm concerned. So long as there's no injuries and anything like that, I'll keep training, keep fighting.
Nice, my man. You know what? It's one thing you said back in talking about the jiu-jitsu, and when you went into the black belt tournament, and your coaches were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" That's a typical Lawrence sort of thing. And there's the same thing with the bare knuckle. It's like when it was announced that you were going into it, it's like, huh? And then we spoke about it, didn't we? And then you was just like, "Look, I'm a martial artist. I'll just go for whatever's in front of me. I just want to compete. I want to fight," and that's what you're doing. And fair play to you, Lawrence. You've gone out there. You've proved a lot of people wrong in my thoughts, and you still stayed active in terms of the MMA and the jiu-jitsu. Whereas I think a lot of guys will try and tone things down and think, "Oh, nah, this is just me now, just the bare knuckle." But you're evident that you're not that, and you're just a pure martial artist in the sense of you're just going for everything and anything. So no one is safe.
It's like those old school martial arts before, like MMA was big, and they were just fighting everything under all different kind of rules, and there'd be somewhere that you'd knock them down and they give you like 10 seconds like in boxing to get back up, and then other ones there'd be like a submission but you're allowed to carry on, like those ones in Japan and all that sort of crazy stuff. I love all that sort of thing. That's what I was watching before I started doing MMA. So if there's an opportunity to fight in something and it's got like a different rule set or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Especially if you're going to pay me to do it, win.
The other day actually, when you got your brown belt, do you know what I was thinking would be perfect for you? Combat jiu-jitsu.
Oh, mate. If it's just another thing that I can look into, do you know what I mean? I tell you what I did look into actually. That, I don't know what it's called. No, I do know what it's called. It's called like King of the Streets or some mental thing like that. They fight with like Harris fencing, concrete floor, and you still pick each other up and slam each other down. It just looks craziness, but even stuff like that, I'm drawn to every form of combat, every type of fight style. I like watching like ONE FC because I like when they do the Muay Thai with the MMA gloves. That looks sick. So yeah, I mean, I'm open to anything and everything, and it's not just like I'm open and I'll have a little go and oh well, I lost, it doesn't matter. No, I'm going out there to smash people and win as well. It's not like I'm going out there half cocked. I'm going to smash people in everything, every division, all the way up to heavyweight. I don't give a shit, mate. I'll fight it all.
Well, I wouldn't expect any different from you, Lawrence. Listen, I know you got a session to get on with, and you got to prepare for your upcoming fight. I just want to wish you all the best. Going on January the 22nd at the O2 Bare Knuckle Boxing 24. Lawrence Tracey versus Hodgson for the British Middleweight Championship. All the best, my man. Hopefully, all in that time. Hopefully, both fighters you both go in healthy and safely, and you come out healthy and safe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, my man. Thank you very much for the interview, brother.
No worries. I'll catch up on the next one, yeah?